In the last video, we kind of talked about a few things, what you needed to consider, what you needed to gather up, and I'll show you again. You need your certifications, degrees, so on and so forth, and you want to consider the 12 colors. You want to consider the kind of career you want before you actually sit down and do this. And the reason for considering these kinds of things and for thinking about the career you want and for considering what background pictures you want. Since making this website, I've learned a lot about personal branding. And personal branding is about, people say it's about selling yourself. It's not so much about selling yourself as it is selling your skills. You have skills to offer. They want to rent those skills, basically. That's what you get paid for, is they're renting the skills and abilities that you have. They're renting certain personality traits that you may have that are useful in the kinds of things that they're selling, they're doing, what have you. And when you're considering the colors, for example, if you're going to be a kindergarten teacher, you may want to go with like pinks and blues and softer colors or softer versions of these colors. You want to go with, you may want to do something kind of cutesy. What if you're going into construction? Not so much. You may want to work with images that are of tools, maybe things like bricks and concrete, metal, stuff like that, that will show that's what you're about. So for that, you may want to go with more grays and browns and yellow for like the hard hats and stuff. You want to show that you know the field. And by knowing the right colors, by having the right colors in your pictures, in your backgrounds, in your fonts, the words and stuff, you are showing part of that. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and sign up for an account. I've already got an account, so I can't really run you through that completely. I can tell you that you will end up, once you get signed up for an account, you'll end up at this page. What kind of website would you create? Would you like to create? As far as I remember, it doesn't take very long. It's your name, your email address, and maybe your age. I can't even remember if they ask for your age anymore. You might have to do one of those are you a robot things, the CAPTCHA kind of things. But other than that, I don't believe it was any more than that. You'll get an email like you usually do with any signing up for anything online. You'll get that email that, tells you to confirm that this is actually your email address and all that. But other than, and you'll have to do a password to get into your to get in here to do that. But other than that, it's not very difficult. And then once you're done, I would like you to go ahead and pause this video right now in just a moment. Once you're done, you'll end up at this page. Once you're at this page, don't touch anything. Come back to the video, and then we'll run through what we're going to want to do. So go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so now that you're at this page, we don't need one with an online store. If you are going to create a online store, that's fine. But right now we're looking for an e-portfolio. We want to do that. Now, it gives you the select a theme. Well, you've got a lot of themes here. And there's some really good ones and there's some not so good ones. The portfolio ones aren't actually really good for a portfolio. You're not looking, however, for like the looks of this, like this picture here. That's not what you want to worry about. You want to worry about this. But you don't want to worry about the background pictures, the pictures in these. You want to worry about how it's set up. Like there's a title, there's your menu bar. Some of them will have the little hamburger thing. Remember, I showed you that in the other video. Some of them will have the hamburger thing, which will bring up your menu. So do you want the menu easily accessible, or do you want them to have to click on this little item right here in order to bring up the menu? So you'll want to pick a theme based on the way you want it to be set up. Now, like I said, the ones in the portfolio aren't really very good. The business ones are good. Personal ones can be pretty good too. Some of them aren't so good. Now, there was one, I believe it was this one, that I had seen before that I really liked, and I think I'm actually going to use because it's the layout of it. Like, it's a food thing that has nothing to do with computer science. It has nothing to do with cybersecurity, and it has nothing to do with graphic design. However, the way it's set up is pretty neat. It's got this picture that stays right here. And then over here, I have my menu, the title, and then over here would be the about page, the home page. This is kind of what I'm looking for. And then over here, I would pick my own picture. That picture is not going to stay. This is what I'm talking about when you pick out your theme. You want to worry about what's right here. Does that font appeal to you? Would that font, those letters, that kind of writing, would that make sense for you in your career, in what you're picking? And the same with the rest of the font. Like, you want to take a look at this kind of thing a little bit. I mean, you don't have to be too picky about it unless you're in graphic design, and then you do want to get really, really super picky about it, because that's something that those people will be looking at. But most people aren't looking at too much of that. As long as it looks kind of clean and, neat, and not too, as long as it looks like it fits to the kind of career you're looking for. And then, you got copyrights and all this other stuff. But this is actually a pretty good thing. So this is what I'm going to pick. Now, I'll go back through here. When you go to do yours, your options may be different. This is one that has actually stayed. You probably don't want a blog one either, because those are built for blogs. They're not really built for e-portfolios. Take a look at the coming soon. None of those really appeal to me much. Some of these are going to repeat from some of these other headings. Like this one is in one of them. That one's in one of them. That one I think is a pretty cool setup, but it doesn't really give what I want. This would be good if you're doing everything on one page, 1 or 2 pages. Like if you don't have any portfolio items yet, something like this would actually be pretty good. Or if you only have a very limited number of portfolio items. But for me, I know it sounds funny because that's under events. Check under every heading, okay? Because they give you the ones that they think are best for different things. But, I mean, really, this is perfect for me. So, I want you to go ahead and pause the video again and get a theme that fits you. And then we'll come back to this. Okay, so now that we're back, click the Start Editing. And this is going to take a little bit. I am so sorry. But now, we're at the Select Your Domain Name. You can do this now, or you can wait until later. I'll go ahead and do this now to show you what it's like in case you do want to do it now. For your domain name, you want something that's going to catch the attention, but most likely you're going to end up with whatever your domain name is, .weebly.com. Unless you can afford to have your own domain name, most sites like this are going to offer you what's called domain hosting. This isn't just a website design creator kind of thing. This is also a website host, which most of them anymore are now. So give me one moment. I need to look something up because somebody called me something fairly recently, and I think I'm going to use that. Oh, I already know what it is. I know she's going to see this, so. There we go. This was something somebody else called me, so don't blame me for the cockiness there. Okay, so most of you are going to end up with something like that. Whatever your ePortfolio name is, .weebly.com. If you can afford to, you can go ahead and register your own domain. But I mean, it's really not necessary. You get 5 freaking pages for free, and all of the, well, I can't say all of the tools are with the free. You have anything that's marked with this little lightning bolt, those are the paid things. You can't customize your own footer with Weebly, but I can show you how in a later video eventually. So, we've picked our theme. Okay, well, it's not showing it the way it would normally appear. Alright, anyway, I'm not even going to bother with it. Okay, so we've signed up. We've picked our theme. Now we need to pick a background image and colors. Now, we want to edit the image. Oh, why are you being this way? Ah, there we go. Sorry. I had a brain fart. Alright, so again, you can select the background image, and earlier I was playing around with this and I found the perfect one. Now I gotta find it again. And I hope it's still in here. And please don't mind me. I'm not normal. Most of you are going to come through this by way of the Spokes program, and some of you may end up meeting me. This is me. There's my image right there. Okay, so this is the image that I picked. Notice it has nothing to do with food now. It has to do with a computer and coffee. Coffee is yeah, that is what keeps me fueled, and that's probably why I'm as crazy as I am right now. So I want to save that to all pages, overwrite. Now this is going to show up on every single page, and I want it that way because I want them to be reminded that what they're getting when they get me is coffee, lots and lots of coffee, and computers, tech, anything. I love tech. I love computers. I love anything computerized, with the exception of things like printers, which don't like me. So I don't like them. And I write. And this looks kind of about like what my journals end up looking like, a little bit of a wreck. So when you're picking a theme, don't worry about the pictures. Worry about what it looks like in the theme. And once I publish this, it should look the way it looked in the theme picker. You hateful thing. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a look at this. Now, the colors I'm going to pick are going to be the a kind of light gray. Maybe I'll just leave it at the white because it kind of looks similar. I'll go with black because you can see quite a bit of black here too. Keys, the phone. And I want to concentrate on the colors that are in the themes that really matter to what my site is going to be about. So, phones are basically small computers by now. And that is definitely a smartphone. So, of course, this is computer. And I want to go with this red right here. I really like that red. It's one of my school colors, in fact. So we'll go ahead and go with the red there. It's kind of a maroon. And we'll go with silver and black. If I can't find anything that's silvery that I like, that, that just, that makes me so mad because before when I was doing this, I remember. There we go. All right. There we go. Now we can see it the right way. I was wondering why that was being so wonky. Something you'll notice, this is one of the things that's really great about Weebly is it converts things. Now, you will want to you'll want to resize your window so that you know how things look. So, resizing your window a little bit. You'll want to do this number here and go to the mobile to view how it's going to look on a mobile phone or in portrait view on a tablet or a phone. But to do this, you're going to want it in desktop view. Now, Weebly does have a mobile app to do the web design part of it, to put together your web page. It's not quite as good, but I will later on show you the differences in a later video. But for now, this is enough. Now, one of the other things that we want to do is we want to make sure that we have all the pages set up that we're going to want. So we have here home, past menu, or home, past menus, reservations, and then we've got more. Contact upcoming events. And you can see how we have these extra two. Well, we don't want upcoming events, we don't want reservations, and we don't want past menus. However, instead of removing those pages, we do need 4 pages. So we'll delete, and I want you to notice, see what happens when I do that over top of the side. I'm actually going to take one of these and do this to it. Now, for these, we want to rename them. So, past menus, I want to rename to resume. You want a resume page. This is going to hold your basic paper resume kind of deal, the written up, text resume. Later on, I will show you how to do that. But for right now, you don't want to upload your resume in a file and you don't want to try to copy and paste it. Please wait for me to show you what you'll need to do for that, because it's really, really crazy. And then for this one, we want our portfolios. So we want portfolios. And I'm saying portfolios. Remember in the last one I had just a portfolio page and I had the certifications page. This time around, it's actually multiple portfolios. I will probably put my achievements on the main portfolio page, and then I will make subpages with my portfolio, my projects, and my certifications, which is why we did this. Now, I'll show you something here. I want you to notice when you do this, and then let's say we wanted us another subsection, or another subpage onto the subpage. So we want 3 levels. That's what that's called, is levels. And you can do this with even more. I'll show you with this one. You can go to a 4th level. We don't want that. Crap. All right. So notice, like when you move things, it over in here, it gives you the blue highlight for your item that you're moving, and then it gives you the little hole there to put it in. It's that easy. It's just drag and drop for most things. And that's most of what Weebly is drag and drop. So we're going to move this back, and that easy. Just make sure that when you're moving things around, you're getting them in the right spots, because you don't want to have it end up being, your contact page under one of your portfolios. So this one, we want to rename to, we'll go with certifications, because that's going to actually stay. Now, in the last video, I showed you something. You may not have caught it, but we're going to create a new page, which is this plus right here. We want a standard page. And for this, we want to make our projects page. Well, I want to make my projects page. For this one, I don't right yet have the projects to put in it. I'm working on a few. And I do have the ones from my old page, but I don't really want those in there because they don't really show what I'm right now what I'm currently capable of. I do have a few projects over there that I will want to put in there, but we'll put that as done. Now, projects is down here. That's not where I want it. I want it in my portfolios, so I want it up here. This is not going to be showing. This isn't going to show in my actual website for right now. And you can see it has that little crossed out eyeball. That's because when I did that, I clicked on this little check mark right here to hide in navigation. That means it's not going to show. So when we come down here, I have my home, resume, portfolios. You notice when I hover over the portfolios, it shows the certifications, but it doesn't show projects and contact. Now, another thing I want to do is I also want to add the achievements page. Now again, that too is going to get hidden. And the reason that one is going to get hidden is because that one is going to have more added to it as I get more to add to it. But for right now, I'm not going to have very many achievements. I've only got a handful. So those are going to go on the basic portfolio page. And then I'm going to direct people to go to my certifications page and my projects page. I may put a couple of the projects up on the main portfolio page. My recommendation is stick to about 10. For your portfolio pages, stick to about 10 items per page. Now, with that said, there are ways of making 20 items into 10 items, or 50 items or 100 items or however many into 10 or less through galleries and slideshows and stuff like that. I mean, it's that simple, really, it is. It's drag and drop. You can, let's say you want to put your achievements up here and make your certifications part of your achievements. You can do that. However, since achievements is hidden, guess what else is hidden? And I have enough certifications that I can make a full page. Contact, portfolios, resume, home. All right, so those are the 4 basic pages that I told you about before. In your portfolios, you're going to want most of that stuff. Your home page, you're going to want your picture, your about me, and a few other things. And I would like to show you something. So let's go ahead and take this. Now, moving things around within Weebly is not hard. You see that blue line there? That shows where this is going to go if we drop it there. That blue line is showing where it's going to go. This blue line shows where it's going to go. If it's a blue line above whatever you're holding, that shows it's going to drop below that, right there. You notice the blue line here? This shows that it's going to drop over onto the right-hand side. We'll go ahead and do this. Now you see the blue line above that, the lorem ipsum? Note. We'll go ahead and take this over here to the left. Boom. Now lorem ipsum is over there. Now, this is something that I also want to mention. When you're working with Weebly, be very careful, because things don't always work the way they should. If you're copying and pasting, say, from Notepad or from Word or anything else, and you want it to be a certain way, don't format it. Just type up whatever you're doing, type it in segments, and then format it inside of Weebly itself, because otherwise the formatting will go haywire on you. Another mistake I made the first time I made I'll show you with my resume. All right, so it's going to take a minute, probably. So when I was first doing my resume into here, this is my resume page. Nice clean layout, right? Right? Yeah. I tried to copy and paste from Word. I had it perfectly formatted. I mean, it was just beautiful. No. It turned into I was sitting here looking at it the one day, and right after I did it, and I was just like, how am I I ended up retyping all of this. Just retyping it. Because every bit of the formatting looked insane, and it didn't even look like anything. It looked like mush, like word diarrhea or letter diarrhea, because it wasn't even words. Half of it didn't even come out as words. So yeah, I ended up with just something completely insane and crazy and just crap. Go back over here. So when you go to put everything in, please, when I tell you how to do something, take my advice. I've already made those mistakes. I believe that's a good ending point for this video. The next one we will start in on the tools. First we'll deal with the text and the title, and we'll go through the variants of those. Now when we get into pictures and videos, there are options for captioning, which have pretty much the same options for manipulating the text and stuff. There is one last thing that I would like to show you on here. Now you remember we went into here. You can change your theme, so you can pick a new theme. I'm going to close that so I don't mess anything up. You can change like this. Ooh, nifty. And you can do the blue-green, kind of a darker look. Ooh, I really kind of like that, actually. We're going to do the plain background. I really kind of like that, though. That's kind of neat. Oh, you can even change their primary and accent colors. Oh, this is new to me. This is something they didn't have before. So we're going to leave that alone because I kind of like this. But you can change your theme. You can change your fonts. So your site title, which is this right here, and it has Cantorell. Your navigation menu is DOSIS, which is this right here. I'm not really going to mess with the fonts. I kind of like the fonts. So the phone number, that would be over on your contact page. Not going to mess with that. Headline, which is this right here. The titles. Subheadlines, which, whatever. Paragraph titles, paragraph text. So the headlines and stuff would be in your top portion, your header layout. And then titles and text and titles. Links, buttons, block quotes. You know, if you want to quote someone famous, go ahead. If it fits with what your personal brand is, go ahead. But I mean, all of these things, your media captions and stuff. Then you have change your background, which is this thing right here. No, I am not touching that. I like it. Theme options. You can collapse the navigation so it does that hamburger, or you can uncollapse it so that you have the actual navigation bar. Like I said before, mainly what you're looking for is the layout. You don't need to worry so much about all of the other options like the colors and the background pictures and the titles and everything, the fonts. You just want to worry about how it's laid out. So basically, where is your main image? Where's your header? What does your header look like? How is the menu laid out in there? And what it looks like in general. You don't really want to look too much at the specifics because you can change all of it. You have guides off, guides are on. So these guides are really wonky. You can move the guides so that they show there. And if you want, you can move them around here like this and kind of get an idea of like, you know, where everything is going to be in respect to, you know, your picture or whatever, where you can move them over here to kind of divide this in half if you want to have a half and half. But I mean, I don't use guides. It's bad design, but just that's how I am. Don't touch this, okay? This thing right here, down here at the very, very bottom, edit HTML, CSS, no. Don't do it. I know very little bit about HTML and CSS, and I will show you what it looks like. And then we will exit out of it very quickly. See, this is the stuff that I'm getting into. I'm not touching it. Bye. This is the kind of stuff that I'm getting into with both graphic design tech as my minor and with computer science and cybersecurity as my major. HTML and CSS are things I have to learn. I'm not touching that right now because while I know a little bit about HTML and a little bit about CSS, I don't know enough to mess with it. And I like the way this looks. And if you mess with that crap, you're going to screw everything up. So don't touch it. unless you know a lot about both of them. All right, so here's probably a really good place to end this video. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.